Yeah, good afternoon, folks. 6.5 years seems to be a long time, isn't it? Very difficult to find a guy spending that much time. Okay, so thank you, Dell. Thank you for having this kind of a gathering. I can see some petabytes of opportunities here. So here I'm very shortly going to talk about the storage piece of business, and specifically where we kind of align jointly along with and work along with Dell. But before we get into that, I just want to spend a minute on cloud actually, because this is all where this is leading to, right? And Microsoft's strategy about cloud is very, very simple. It can be summed up actually in 3 words: A, B, and C. Okay, so A would stand for the appliance, B for the box, the traditional box that you will always be using, and C is the cloud. Specifically, we have all the 3 variants, and we offer all the functionalities and capabilities seamless without actually the end user knowing where he is actually consuming these services from. Okay, and the result of some of the great benefits that we're seeing is the result of working together. It's a joint engineering forum that we have along with DL, and the result of that is some solutions that we offer. Now, here I'm to talk about, I'll just spend a minute on Windows Storage Server. This is a component which is available as part of an OEM only. I'm sure you guys have possibly also gone into procurement or have seen. This product is not a product that is available off the shelf. It is not something which is available in the market. It is specifically designed to work along with the OEM devices, which is the storage appliances that you would be going and procuring. So, in a nutshell, what it is certainly a traditional Windows server, but it's primarily meant and targeted for use along with an storage appliance that you will have. And what does really do for you? There are some great capabilities that are built in, right? Some of them are things like single instance, customization configuration. But primarily, it is an easy-to-use, simple device that you can actually go, get it in, plug it in, and actually forget about trying to do any configuration or installation and stuff like that. It's all in one. Traditionally, possibly you went ahead and you bought a Windows file server and then you attach it to storage, and as it grows, you had issues about, at least not issues, but at least there is additional work on trying to make it all work together. On the contrary, in this, you basically have one single box that you plug it in and you get started. You don't have to buy another server and another storage. This is all together very well configured into one single box. So that is what the idea is. So it's a Windows server with some specific capabilities, primarily to target for the specific kind of a role or a workload that you're going to be positioning it for, and it's an OEM appliance that works together with this. So is this new? No, I don't know if people who have been tracking this before. It's close to around 10 plus years that we are having this, and it's come in various shapes and forms. But I think over the period of time, we have really progressed. Our joint engineering focus, which is there with Dell and specifically with Dell, in making those particular devices available, have actually shown us a great amount of traction. And we actually have a wide range of products which are there, primarily suited for specific workloads, like possibly your email exchange or file server. We will talk about it in a moment, right? So I see in this forum, we all are aware, and that's the reason why we are sitting here. We know about the challenges that are there in terms of the explosion of data that's going to happen, distributed computing, heterogeneous environments, and again, the budget constraint, which is very, very common. Retaining information and having the GRC component is a really, really critical component that we are really, really worried about, right? So how are you going to have that, give the flexibility, give the ease of use, but still not have too many hurdles in maintaining that environment? So if you look at this, it's a small chart, and I don't know if it is really available for you to see it clearly or not. So it's a no-nonsense product. It's a Windows server. It's all pervasive. It's a device that you knew how to use that. You don't have to have a specific specialist skills to go and manage that. You don't have to talk to another vendor again, right? It's all in one. It's all software and hardware all together in an appliance working straight away for you. That's the idea. I don't know if you've seen at the second last point there, it says no CALs required. Are there anyone from procurement here? Are there people from procurement here? I don't see any. right? So that's another great point. Yeah, you are there, right? That's a fantastic point, right? Traditionally, if you are a SME, if you are a SMB customer, mid-market customer, or even a bigger customer, just if you want to run a storage and a Windows server, file server, you will require CALs otherwise, right? With this kind of a box, with this kind of a device, you actually don't. It's very well pre-configured. It is tuned. There is no additional work. You plug it in, and it's on. All your rights, all your properties that you have associated with the users, who's got access to what, who's got the user provisioning, it all is seamlessly integrated with the Active Directory, and it just works like a charm. So that's the idea, right? There is a huge amount of technical material, and I don't want to go into that right now. The idea is to give you a quick snapshot, a quick overview of what this is. This is not another animal that you've never seen before. This is something that you have been working along with this. All through it. So there is no differentiator between Windows platform and another OEM box. It's all together melted in one box. It's baked in. That's the idea, right? So there are various seamless, easy to use, familiar kind of technologies in which you can go and do your management, your configuration. You don't require additional skill sets. That's the whole idea on this. These are technologies, and some of them great innovations which have happened with 2008 onwards. I don't know how many of you possibly have noticed this, but SMB 2.1, branch cache, direct access, these are some technologies that have come to life along with Windows Server 2008 R2, and all those benefits are very well passed on to the OEM box, because natively, Windows Server 2008 R2 is what's going to be running as a storage server. So you actually can take benefit. Like for instance, direct access is a fantastic functionality. I don't know how many of you have read about this or ever used it. It is an ability to create an instant VPN without actually putting up any equipment, which will require a VPN box or a VPN concentrator or a VPN client software on either the PC or a laptop that you're running, right? Branch cache, another fantastic capability that actually reduces unnecessary duplicate transfer of files from central site to a remote site. These are capabilities which are natively built in, and Windows Server 2008 R2, you will be able to leverage that right away. File classification infrastructure, I don't know again if you have ever seen this. This is really, really cool. There are capabilities like rights management, information rights management that actually leverages this. That way you can have, if there is, so for instance, if there is some classified content, and there are some specific hot words or keywords that you can identify, irrespective of the users or without relying on the users' capability or without relying on the users, wanting to do that specific rights protection to that. File classification will actually find out those keywords and apply those filters and make sure that the document is protected, it can't go out of the organization. Now these are things, it may just surprise you, but these are things which are natively available and have been available for a long time with Windows Server. So it's optimized, it works together. I think I spoke about all these together, right? And this is where I'm going to talk about primarily on what the relationship is there with Dell. It's so much so that, both of us actually are betting on each other on this technology. So this is a small example of what's running at Dell. Dell is, Dell runs around, I think, it's one of the largest Exchange implementation, and they are actually running this off this kind of a box. It meets all the necessary requirements. It's kind of pre-configured. It has those native APIs and the secret sauce. We actually make sure that you get all the performance, you get the right IOPS. You don't have to spend too much of time trying to get some specialist bring in and configure this to get an fantastically tuned system solution on site. This is a ready box that actually has all the necessary necessary capabilities in that. One great example is that single mailbox retrieval is one capability that comes out of the box. Otherwise, for which you will have to go out and procure some third-party product, right? So those kind of capabilities are baked into this. This is something which is straight away available. You plug it in. It's all hardwired. It's all very well tuned, pre-configured, and it's ready to go. So this is a great example on what we're doing it. And just alike, we also have Microsoft, who's using the similar kind of infrastructure, similar kind of devices within Microsoft. So one of our global call centers, they're actually using this. This also has some fantastic native APIs and the native components which are built in for great Hyper-V support. thereby again reducing significantly all the amount of time and specialist requirement for you to go and enable Hyper-V environment. So this is a great option for you to go and look at. It's all automated as well with PowerShell. In case if you have people or if you have the necessary skills to go and manage that, it's great. But if not, they are all available there. So, it's not a plain vanilla box that's been pushed onto you. It has a huge amount of specialist capabilities baked in there for you to straight away go, plug it in, and get going on that. Similarly, this is another great example. We also have a similar component available for your SharePoint forms. I don't know if there are any organizations here who have been using SharePoint, right? It's spawned out rapidly, right? Yeah, it starts off like a small project in a department, and then suddenly it's running all over the place, and you don't know how to really go and manage that. That is what has been seen, right? It's very, very tough because suddenly there's an explosion of that. Now, here we have some secret sauce again, which is an ISP solution that bundles in with this particular box, which makes sure that you will get consistent performance across over a period of time as and how you scale. And you don't actually have any specific configuration work or get and specialized to go and build this for you. Specifically also, because it is all very nicely tucked into small use, the scalability that you get out of this is fantastic. You don't have to do rewiring, you don't have to do uprooting of your existing stuff. It will scale very, very nicely as and how your expands it. And you will not lose out on any of the application performance requirement. And this is one of the major issues, right? You start off today with a small setup, and then over a period of time as you go, you will notice that the performance slightly goes below. And then there's again, you need to bring in the specialist to see that what has gone wrong. Let's do some reconfiguration again and things like that, right? So this ties in again very well with what I was talking earlier, that the A, B, C. If you have been traditionally using a box and you're happy with that, that's the way to go. Okay, great. You can try it out. And the moment you want to see that you want to move to an appliance, something which is hardwired, pre-hardened, it's a ready-to-use box, you actually have an option to go there. And then C, which is basically cloud. And specifically in cloud, we basically offer cloud on your own terms. It is not limited to, saying that you will have to move everything up onto the cloud. Right? I don't know how many of you have ever had a chance to listen through our cloud story, but it's pretty compelling. We have the private cloud version. We also have the extended cloud, which is a cloud on via the internet. And we also have an intermediate wherein you are still not very sure if you want to move the data out to the internet. We also have arrangements. We have also agreements with various hosters or those kind of organizations who basically can actually take the entire infrastructure and run it there. For you as a user, the user interface and the entire experience, that does not change. So that's what I mean. You don't have to really have. There are organizations, by the way, who are running things like MS Exchange, which is partly in their premise, and they are actually run out of their capacity. They want to go beyond that, and they don't want to do the ownership of that. So specifically, you can actually go to Office 365. That gives you the same email ID. So you have 5,000 boxes here. The additional 1,000 boxes are coming from the cloud. The user doesn't know that, right? So that's what I mean to say, that when I talk about cloud on your terms, this is how it really helps. And this joint engineering that we are doing along with Dell is actually helping us, and actually, we are actually leveraging this particular alliance to go ahead with this necessary story. So as I already pointed out, is that it's both of us. It's us betting with Dell and Dell betting with us. That's the thought. I'm done, but I'm happy to hear questions if there are.